Check. Can you guys hear me now? Let me know if I need to get out of this and come back in. I'm so stupid. I really did, Zach. Zach, that was one of the best monologues I've ever done in my life. No, you guys got to get a lip reader in here, Dana, to transcribe that. Can you guys hear me? I'm way too hot. Thank you. You don't say. All right, let me turn this shit down. I'm gonna pop out and come back in. No, yeah, hold on a second. All right, so here's what I did. Here's how stupid I am. Obviously, I'm stupid for not having the cord connected, or maybe it was the online feds that I was just giving a brilliant monologue about. I'm going to show you documentation of this. It's not a conspiratorial thing, their existence, but I was giving a monologue in silence to you guys. Verify you can hear me, by the way. My dog was the only person to get the benefit. My dog was the only being to get the benefit of the most brilliant, hilarious monologue you've ever heard in your life. And then after that, so I was stupid one time. After that, I fixed the audio. I popped out and I came back in and I started talking to you guys again for like a minute and a half and realized that I hadn't put myself on screen yet. Like double stupid. Holy smokes, dude. Maybe I need to be a progressive. I got the Joe Biden. All right, we're going to start this thing over because I have some seriously cool stuff to talk about today. I think it's interesting. It's like really interesting. All right, I'm going to pretend none of that happened. You guys too. Edmund's leaving because he's moved. He's completely moved by that brilliant monologue I just gave. But here we go. Let's start this MFer over. Thank you guys for letting me know about that. All right, here we go. The FBI's secret army of online covert employees. And Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis gets mislabeled. And I know I've been very hard on Fani. Not like that. But I've been very critical of her. But when someone calls her something that she's not, I'm not going to stand for it. I will defend her honor, and I will prove that later on in the show. This is the Propaganda Report podcast, live with audio this time. I'm Brad Binkley. Happy hump day, everyone. Or as Joe Biden used to call it in the Biden family, happy shower with daddy day. I'm no Hunter Biden fan, guys, but I'm not going to pretend that was an easy household to grow up in. Every shower was dirty in the Biden family household. What I want to talk about today is something that we as conspiracy theorists in this community joke about all the time, which is feds are everywhere. Feds are everywhere. Divide the population of the country into two. Half the people are regular people. Everybody else is a fed assigned to one of those people. That's the jokey mentality about feds. And nothing made me believe that feds actually are kind of everywhere, more than going to the Libertarian National Convention in D.C. a few weeks ago. Because holy fed. But those aren't the feds that I want to talk about today. I want to talk about a different breed of feds. Feds that are everywhere online. Discord servers, WhatsApp, chats, X, Facebook, Meta, whatever the hell it's called now, Telegram. They are everywhere. This is a more conducive environment for these feds to operate under the cover of whatever profile picture they have, whatever persona they take on, watching us, influencing us, trying to shape our perception, entrapping people. We all remember the Whitmore kidnapping plot, where it was like 9 feds and 2 idiots who they met in like a Discord server. I don't remember the exact details. The Fed walks up and says, hey, you should be pissed off at that bitch. Here's a bomb. Go show her. A guy takes the bomb. You're under arrest. I mean, you read these indictments and it's truly unbelievable how they take these people who need a leader in their life. This is what they seek out. And you can find many people like this in these online communities. And I'm not criticizing people like that. I think we've all had moments in our life where we felt a little lost. I recommend a book all the time. It's called The Organizational Strategy. It's the Bolshevik strategy, and it was written by Rand Corporation. And I know that everybody uses the techniques. They focused on the commies' use of the techniques, and the commies absolutely use it, but so do the feds. And there's a chapter in there where it's called The Bolshevik Man, and it describes the ideal type of person and situation that person's in for them to target to bring into their little club. And that always includes somebody who needs a North Star, who maybe they don't have a father figure, or they're on drugs, or they're from a broken home. Same thing Jeffrey Epstein did to get women into his group. I should make sure I'm getting audio here before I keep going. Yes, good. Thank you. I was very passionate about it. It was probably kind of funny to see me just talk and wave my arms around like a monkey with no sound coming out. Because I know when I talk, I look like I'm a monkey. But yeah, so just wanted to verify the audio. Thank you, guys. So they target these people who are searching and who are in need of a leader. And once they get them, they can influence them to, as we saw in the Whitmore case, do things that they otherwise would not have done. Some of those guys, they walked because it was found that there was undue influence done by the FBI or the undercover agents. And you can read a lot of cases where that same thing has happened. You read these indictments and they all kind of fall in to that same category. And these agents can find so many people like that online, and they meet them in the servers, and they engage in these activities. And I'm not making this up. Like, this isn't just a conspiracy thing, and I know that you guys know that, but this is actually an official FBI job title. And they are actually officially targeting people like us, conspiratorial people who ask too many questions about the narrative. Let me show you the official title aspect of it. I did a show on this before, but I think it's worth reminding ourselves of this, because right now, more than ever, we are surrounded by such manipulation and deception that we need, in my opinion, the best way to defend ourselves is questions, especially when we feel so super emotional and supportive of someone who has become this new leadership figure that we really only know from this online persona this person has created. Maybe there's a few offline meets, but we don't really know much about these people. And we don't ask questions, because in those moments in our lives when we're searching, our critical thinking brain isn't the strongest. We're pulled by these emotional appeals, by surface level language, glittering generalities, propaganda, which says, it was weird about glittering generalities. Like, liberty is a thing that's real and true, right? But there's some people who promote liberty with substance, and there's some people who just say liberty, 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 and people, that's all they fucking mean. Liberty, free, like it doesn't mean shit. It's just trigger words that appeal to emotions of people who find themselves overwhelmed with those emotions, that they haven't stepped outside themselves and said, wait a minute, am I being pulled in the wrong direction? Rambling. Okay, here is let me get this document up here. This is from the Justice Department's website, justicedepartment.gov. And these online agents, these FBI undercover agents, these feds, their official job title is online covert employee, Not the most creative thing in the world, but that's what they call them. They're online covert employees. And you can see here at the bottom of the screen, so I can make that a little bit bigger. Online covert employees are FBI employees that communicate in alias with subjects of FBI investigations online. Another definition that they give, which, by the way, this entire document is filled with descriptions and the activities of and critique of federal online covert employees, OCEs as they call them. OCE, that's their little acronym they have for it. And another definition that they give is, hold on, I'm trying a new focus thing with my notes here. I always look for try to find the best ways to look at your screens and your notes and stuff. I'm trying a new one today. But this other definition, which I find a little bit more interesting, says that an online covert employee is an agent who, using an alias, engages directly or indirectly in relationships or communications with targets of FBI investigations over an extended period of time while concealing their FBI affiliation. Basically, if this covert operative is doing a great job targeting me or you or somebody like us, we wouldn't know it. That's the idea. And they play off our arrogance we can sometimes feel about our ability to spot bullshit and to spot, nefarious actors or deception. Because the second we think we're like a badass and nobody can outsmart us is the second we become the easiest target to be manipulated. Always have to have a little bit of skepticism, in my opinion. It's good, actually. It's actually good. Not just for you, but for people who might actually not be a Fed, but you just might read into it something that's not there. Because by being skeptical, you can ask clarifying questions, which gives that person the opportunity to go, oh, yeah. No, here's this. And that actually wins the trust of the skeptical people. So it's good to ask questions. It's good to be skeptical. It's not good to be a dick. You want to be cool, but we got to be skeptical right now because they just want us to fucking trust them. So stupid. Anyway, that second definition to me, it's just the extended period of time is interesting because we wouldn't know and they would have been in our lives for, as it says, a little bit. It's not like they're just going to come in and just, manipulate us and it's all going to be over in a day. These things are months, maybe years. You read these indictments where you have these online covert employees and these online covert employees they play a major role in every single arrest of someone who was involved in some sort of leaking of documents and a Discord or whatever. It's always an online covert employee who brought them to justice, the way the FBI puts it. They come into your lives. They become a leader. They become a friend. They sound like you. They try and talk like you. Maybe even they look like you. And it's like that person's just, that's my buddy. You might even think it's your buddy. But in reality, you might not even really know shit about them. Because the questions were never asked, because they caught you in an environment and in a state where just never thought to really look into it. Because it seemed to appear that you're fighting a war on the same side together against another nefarious actor. When the reality might be that person you should be fighting might actually be the one deceiving you. I ask people quite often, I think I might have asked this in that debate, I don't remember, but whenever somebody comes into like newfound influence or they go from a couple thousand followers to maybe 10,000, Garland Favorito, voter GA, he kind of blew up from the great work he's been doing for years. And I remember asking him, and I've asked others, what's your vetting process for when because people start coming to you once you get a little bit bigger like that? How do you protect from being co-opted? Because once you get that influence, you're the target of co-option. And people I think don't often think that much about that until something happens. Like there were some people who had, like Lynn Wood, I think he might have been an operative. I think he messed up some of those court election investigations, Garland. I think that he was not somebody good to help out because he fucked things up, basically. I don't know if he was an intentional operative, but like we don't think about that because people, we want to believe people, we want to trust people. I don't think it's just the people who get a large amount of influence who need to be thinking in that way. I think we all do because we're in these online environments. And not only do we know, we just saw the definition on the justice.gov site there, not only know that these online covert agents exist, we also know that they're targeting us, conspiracy theorists. And that's not me speculating. Again, this is actually what Biden put, his administration put in his 2021, right, in June after he was elected, their, what was it called? The Countering Domestic Terrorism Strategy. Let me show you that document again, just to give us a little bit of a refresher for what exactly they're looking for in these online spaces. That's the wrong one. Well, whatever. I'm just retarded all across the board today. All right. Hold on a second here. There it is. All right. So here's what it says. This is the closing part. This is the last line of the Biden administration's Countering Domestic Terrorism Strategy. You can see the very last line there says, we will work toward finding ways to counter the influence and impact of dangerous conspiracy theories that can provide a gateway to terrorist violence. So conspiracy theory, like conspiracy theorists are literally the target. Literally. Us. Maybe not us specifically, but maybe some of us specifically. Can they entrap you? Can they co-opt the influence that you have? Can they rope you in to an organization that will then be radicalized and deemed dangerous? Those are just some questions to ask, I think, about like the types of conspiracy theorists that they might target, or people who just question the narrative, really. And there's another definition here. Get rid of that one. This is the fact sheet, just to really emphasize that conspiracy theorists are the target, one of the targets that these online covert employees are after. Hold on, search that again. This is the fact sheet that goes with it. And it says the U.S. government will also work to find ways to counter the polarization often fueled by disinformation, misinformation, and dangerous conspiracy theories online. That is what those online covert employees are looking for. Like literally the stuff that we do. It's easy to joke about it and not even really like think that actually there are a bunch of people trying to trick us. And they trick us by winning our trust, so that they then can do things we don't question, or get us to do things that we should question and take a step back from. Now, I'll get rid of that. So just to show you a little illustration of a search, just to show you the role that these online covert employees play in all of these investigations that the FBI celebrates. So you can do a modifier search on the FBI website. You can put site and then FBI.gov and then put in quotes online covert employee. And you can just get kind of a list of news stories and FBI stories about how they've brought somebody to justice through an online covert employee. See, that person was actually an online covert employee working for the FBI that an NSA person it sold secrets to. Then you have ex-NSA, so that's the same story, I think. Employee honored by the DOJ with effort with the FBI to thwart terrorism. That was another online covert employee. FBI catches a mail bomber in dark web covert operation. Dark web's also where a lot of this shit happens. And you go over here. FBI's new tactic, catching suspects with push alerts. That's interesting. Online covert employees involved in that one as well. We get rid of that one just to show you that it is these discs. We all know this, but for me, it's like it's easy to not think about it. Here you see this online covert employee was operating on Discord. And you got one over here. I mean, and there's just dozens of articles about these online covert employees being the hero. 22 years this person went. So this person, online covert employee, operating on WhatsApp, operating on Telegram. That doesn't mean you shouldn't trust anybody on it. Well, I mean, trust but verify, man. It's just like, that's why they want things so emotional. Trust but verify. And the reason that I bring this up, that I wanted to talk about this, is because I'm a skeptical person. And I'm more like, so I joked with Jake from the Georgia Libertarian Party the other day. He was on the show, and I was telling Ian about the convention. And I was like, yeah, it was kind of like I was hanging out with Jake in the back, and people would walk by, and I'd be like, that guy's a Fed. That guy's full of shit. That guy's a Fed. There's something weird about that guy. And Jake would be like, I kind of like those guys. I'd be like, I'm kind of a skeptical dick. I'm like nice. Like as soon as I meet somebody, get to know them a little bit, I'm like, okay, I was just being a little too skeptical. But sometimes I'm right. I'm on the money with it. Sometimes like. Easy ones like AOC, like Stacey Abrams and all them, they create these backstories. And the backstories are obviously fake, and they're used because they're running for office, and they want to create this new narrative about themselves because whatever their real story is doesn't work for the demographic they're going for. And why I wanted to talk about this is because I've noticed some people operating in these online spaces that are a little curious, that aren't getting questioned at all. Nobody's asking. I'm not going to say names because, as I said, I'm skeptical. And that might be way off. But I just don't like when there's just obvious holes in stories and contradictions in things that nobody seems to question because everybody seems to be on board and following somebody as some sort of powerful person or influencer. And there's a variety of people like this. And what I think happens... Maybe I'm wrong. I'm trying to figure it out. I think that some of these people, and this is definitely something these covert agents would do, but it could be where someone has genuine influence, is a good person who just has details that have been left out. They might not even realize that their story comes off as a little shady. But I feel like people get to a certain size, or they're given a certain size social media following, whether it's genuine or not. And that makes people who don't have as big a following intimidated, and they aspire maybe to have such a big following. And when that person says the things they like, the appeals they like, when they go after and hit the people that they don't like, everything's great. This is why I always say evaluate the content, separate it from the people. Because once we start getting into hero worship, even though we might not always recognize it as such, we might just really think, awesome, I love this guy. We won't get bamboozled if we're always just evaluating the content. Because the whole idea of co-option through undercover agents is winning trust and shutting off critical thinking. So just evaluate the content. And everybody's a fucking person. Everybody's a fucking person, whether they have 1 million followers or one. Everybody's a fucking person. They breathe, they have blood. Everybody's a fucking human. Nobody should be put up on a fucking pedestal. Fucking nobody. Except Jesus. Nobody else. And I see some of these things. I can't, sometimes it gets me in trouble because I can't help but asking questions. Like, one of the ways I think that's the best way to protect ourselves from co-option, is if you see a backstory that's very vague and very, that really doesn't make sense, then ask about it. Hey, tell me more about that again. I'd really like to, and not in a dickish way. And they might tell you an answer that blows your mind and inspires you. And that's fucking great. You've given them an opportunity to build trust. If they respond by saying, screw you, you're attacking me, then that person should be asked questions because there's something they're not telling you. That doesn't mean they're bad. Maybe there's a fucking explanation. But the condemning of asking questions is a problem I have. And I see this happening with backstories that don't even exist, or internet histories that are completely deleted. This is something people can do nowadays. You can pay to have your internet history washed so you can reshape your persona. Now, there's valid reasons for doing that. Very valid. But it is not unreasonable if you see someone who gains a certain level of influence over people, for you to say, hey, what happened for those 13 or so years that there was clearly some sort of social media accounts, but everything is gone? Up until the point of right before I heard about you, right before you emerged on the scene and blew up. Everything before that, for 12, is gone. What was going on social media then? That's the interesting shit I want to know about. I might even fucking love it, man. I might love it. It's not unreasonable to ask those questions. When they treat you as unreasonable for asking those questions is when they are suspect, is when they might very well be an online covert operative or just a fucking grifter. I just don't like seeing good people getting conned. I've seen it so many times in my life. It's one of the reasons I do this. I've seen people close to me getting totally bamboozled by someone or multiple people who I knew for a fact were pathological lying con artists. Because me and another friend of mine, we had figured this out. You're in the theater community, you run into a lot of people like this. Scammers, grifters, in real life, just like online, just in a different style. And what you learn is, you can't tell those people who are enthralled by someone, hey, you're being bamboozled, because they will get mad at you and they will not come back and say, you were right. Which I don't even care about that. I'm just like, I don't want my friend to get lied to. I don't want them to get roped into something because they're fired up about someone who's just good at manipulating them. That's going to lead to trouble. It's just like these organizers, these activist organizers who organize all these people, these kids. When we're 18 to 25 is the most dangerous time in our lives because we think we're smarter than we're ever going to be. But the reality is that we're actually the dumbest that we're going to be in our lives because we think we're so smart. And they organize these kids to take action that gets them in conflicts with police. They don't even know why. Ruins some of their lives. Gets them kicked out of school, jailed. Meanwhile, the organizer is building political capital by showing they can get groups of people to act in mass against their own best interest. It's a similar concept there. And I don't like it. I don't like when people are manipulated. When good people are manipulated. I definitely don't like when good people are slowly convinced to do more and more radical things they otherwise wouldn't do that could very well lead to them being entrapped by one of these fucking douchebags online who are just out there looking to get a news report about themselves that says they thwarted another attack. You didn't thwart an attack. You just handed some guy a bomb who you've been conning for a year. And as soon as you handed it to him, you threw cuffs on him and you threw him in jail and said, look, we got the white nationalist terrorist. I mean, they do this shit. I'm not saying they don't stop real shit, but look, read the indictments. This shit happens all the time. And I feel like I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't bring attention to shit like this. It's going on, and hopefully the people who we're most influenced by, that we've met that are great, that we feel are great, are. And I think for me, I've met so many great people doing this and online and in person, like really, truly great people. And that's why I want to talk about this. I don't want the work we're doing to expose the fucking regime, pull the curtain back. I don't want it getting undermined by people infiltrating those of us who question, those of us who demand answers, who do not just accept and swallow the narrative. Ask questions that are obvious questions that should be asked. That's all I would say. If something seems weird, ask a question. Who gives a fuck? Who fucking cares? I don't care if they have 1 million followers or if they're a fucking egg photo. If they have influence and something's weird, ask a fucking question. I think that's my message there. Man, the first time I went through it when I was silent, it was so much more eloquent. We'll look at some of the comments here. Denver, bullshit alarms and spidey senses and discernment. Yeah, it's there. And it's easy to discern and follow those instincts when it's in regards to people whose beliefs are very different than ours, who we don't like. They're not going to really have much influence over us anyway. And that's the challenge, because it's the ones that say the things that we do like that I believe we should be as critical, if not more critical, not in a dickish way, but just to vet them. We have to overcome our own confirmation bias and desire to be a part of something. We have to overcome the state that puts us in because it shuts down our critical thoughts. We have to consciously protect ourselves. And then once we vet, then you're all in. Like that's cool. Like that's fucking cool. When you find people that you truly trust who are on the same page and are like fighting for the same mission that you are. That's some good shit. Avram says, I love how Brad is all serious today, and tomorrow maybe he'll be... Yeah, tomorrow I'll do like an hour of dick jokes tomorrow. I do go back and forth between dick jokes and getting really passionately intense to do that. Aram, I met Pasta at the convention. He mentioned you. He took a picture of us and he said that he said he's going to send it to you. I don't know if he did or not. It's better. Looking at some of the chats here. Sorry to miss some of those. I no longer trust the government. I am embarrassed. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. Bad Christian. It's not. It's not. If we've all been bamboozled. You're not human if you haven't been bamboozled. That's the thing, man. It's so easy to get a little bit of an oversense of confidence in our ability to recognize that shit. There's this book called Getting Us Into War. It's a really great book. It's like 700 pages, and it documents all these congressional hearings and all information around the world. It's written by this guy named Porter Sargent. He's a funny writer, very sarcastic, but also detailed, and he cites everything. But he cites these papers that were written between the British, what's it called? Sir Gilbert Parker was a British operative that was in America, and Lord Northcliffe was the propaganda bureau, the war propaganda bureau chief in Britain. And he sent all these artists around the world to go win favor in the side of the British to get countries to join the war in favor of the British. And the reason he sent these literary people is because they were famous. People knew them in other countries, and he knew that, especially in America, that if he sent this Sir Gilbert Parker guy, H.G. Wells was one of them. He went. I can't remember what country he went to, but Sir Gilbert Parker was this guy who, as soon as he got here, all these highfalutin intellectuals and celebrities wanted him at their parties. They said, Sir Gilbert Parker's here. Bring that British fuck to my party, dude. And they even write in their correspondence back and forth to each other, propaganda chief and Parker, that these Americans, they're so eager to have dukes and princes at their parties that they'll tell you anything. They'll listen to anything that you say. They won't question it. And they mock how gullible Americans are. And specifically, they mock how these intellectuals at the universities think that they can never be fooled, and they are the most easiest to bamboozle. I mean, it's in these writings. And I always think back to that, because sometimes it's like, oh, you feel like you're just laser locked in, but it's like, get too big for your britches and you'll get bamboozled right in the ass, like Hunter Biden did at shower time on Hump Wednesdays, or Shower with Daddy Wednesdays. And the Biden family. The worst hygiene ever. Nobody got clean in a Biden family shower. And the fact that they had a Biden family shower every Wednesday, I'm assuming Joe's getting all the kids together. What a sick, creepy person. It blows my mind when I look at Joe Biden and you can see the provable history about him. And he's our fucking president. The guy's daughter wrote in her fucking diary, while making a list about why she was probably molested, here's a list about why I believe I was molested as a kid. One of them, inappropriate showers with dad. Probably inappropriate showers. And yet people will still go, oh, she didn't say how old she was. Maybe she was 3. Yeah, she remembered everything when she was 3 years. Oh, I remember all the showers. No, that's not what... She wouldn't put that in there. Maybe she would have come out and clarified herself if she said that. No fucking reporter says, hey, Joe, tell us about shower time with your daughter. No, nobody asked that. Like how are we in a real we have news investigative journalists when nobody has fucking asked him that question? It's inappropriate. You cannot ask about the president's inappropriate showers with his daughter. That's off the table. He's a good, decent man, okay? He's a good, decent man freezing up, standing next to George Floyd's brother and Latrell Sprewell and Kamala Harris's gay husband, who I think is actually maybe Biden's handler as well. Let's talk about Fani Willis, by the way. Let's go to Fani. Let's go to the Fani here. Love a good Fani story. Hold on a second here. Oh, wait, before that, this is what I wanted to show you guys. That document. So check out that document if you want. It is an audit, 2022 audit on the FBI's undercover activities, national security undercover activities. And it talks all about these online covert agents. Very interesting document. There was a short video made surmising the findings of this document, and it doesn't really give the most glowing report for these undercover feds. In fact, it seems like they need a little bit of work. Listen to this guy. Hold on. Look at this. All right. I don't know who this dude is. I don't know who made their videos. I think maybe Mike Termont made this guy's videos, because I don't know how the government can have so much money they steal from us, but they make such shit videos. I don't know if you guys saw Mike Termont's new one that came out where he was jogging in a collared shirt that was tucked in. Who jogs in a collared shirt that's tucked in? All right, this is the summation of that report.
Hello, I'm Michael Horowitz, Inspector General for the U.S. Department of Justice. Today, my office released a report on the FBI's oversight of national security undercover operations, which the FBI uses for some counterterrorism, counterintelligence, and cybercrime investigations. We found that the FBI is directing its undercover operations resources to the highest priority threats. However, we also identified several aspects of the program that should be improved. For example, we found that the FBI doesn't track short-term undercover activities that are not part of a full authorized operation.
I'm going to pause that one for a second. Their investigation found that the FBI does not track short-term undercover activities that are not part of a full authorized operation. So what are the implications of that? There's just undercover operatives running around doing whatever the hell they want and it's not being tracked? These undercover operatives are allowed to break the law, and if they can justify it, like, you can read all the rules. They have the rules for undercover operatives, and basically, if you can call it self-defense, you can murder people, and you won't be prosecuted. You can commit all of these crimes. Seems here they're not even tracking what might be going on.
This can lead to an increased risk of compromising agent safety.
Yeah.
And it can also undermine the integrity of
Yeah,
other
no
ongoing
shit.
investigations. We also found that the training for undercover employees was insufficient and not centrally managed. In addition, for certain undercover...
Wait, the training of the employees, the undercover employees online as well, insufficient, not well managed. Interesting.
...activities that required Attorney General...
Take it back a little.
In addition, for certain undercover activities that required Attorney General exemptions, we found that the approval process was time-consuming and often delayed the start of some operations. And we identified concerns with aspects of FBI's tradecraft that could impact FBI operations beyond undercover operations.
Well, so the tradecraft is shit?
National security undercover operations are a critical tool for successful counterintelligence investigations and for the detection, prevention, and prosecution of terrorism and cybercrime. We believe that the FBI should improve its management and oversight over these important programs. To read our report and our 10 recommendations, please visit our website, oig.justice.gov, or go to oversight.gov. Thank you for joining me today.
It's just not a very glowing report about their operation. The way he delivers it, it just seems kind of matter of fact, but it seems like a pretty boring guy to me. Yeah. So they don't monitor the guys. They're running around doing whatever the hell they want. Probably in your Discord server, your Telegram, maybe sliding into your DMs. You got no idea. Anyway, let's talk about Fani Willis, one of my favorite subjects. Fani Willis, a Fani Willis story. There's a couple Fani Willis stories in the news today. We're going to start with Fani's dirty donation money. This story came out yesterday. Which, by the way, Fani Willis got a little bit of a win today in the Fulton County January 6th case. The co-defendants of Trump, this is funny, it just is, the ones who took a plea deal and they turned against Trump, so to speak. Like they started saying that no, the election wasn't stolen. They started saying the media talking points as part of their plea deal. Well, their case can continue to go forward. The judge on the case, McAfee, determined that because those people who took the deal are not continuing to appeal and challenge, are now separate from Trump and the other co-defendants, that their case can continue going forward. I mean, they really have to be kicking themselves at taking that deal now. What a weak moment for them. Maybe that it's just maybe it's like they got some compromising information and there's a little bit of a trade going on and they'll get some benefit after. But right now, they got egg on their face, if you ask me. So Fani Willis was given some donation money by this. I got to turn this thing off on my screen. I don't like it. All right, hold on. So it was reported last night that this former City of Atlanta attorney who was just sentenced to 7 years in prison for committing pandemic loan fraud to the tune of $15 million, $17 million when you count the $2 million that her co-conspirator brought into the deal. She donated $1,000 to Fani Willis's campaign in 2020 after receiving this PPP pandemic money. The woman's name is Shalita Robertson. And along with giving Fani $1,000, she also used, well, I shouldn't say that she definitely used the money to donate to Fani. She just donated $1,000 to Fani after she had robbed the government of $15 million. So even if the money that she gave to Fani didn't actually come from that $15 million of stolen money, it's still, the existence of that in your bank account makes it easier to give Fani some of your own money that you had that you might not of otherwise have given her. To me, it's no different. Like, I think the guilt is there either way. I think she received stolen money. This chick also, I say chick, she's 62. She also bought herself a 10-carat diamond ring and a Rolls Royce, along with helping out Fani Willis to become the DA. And hold on a second. Okay, so this is in the actual Georgia campaign filing, so this is not speculation. The campaign finance filings. And this woman, who's obviously a Democrat, she ran 2 unsuccessful campaigns to be a Fulton County Circuit Court judge in 2014 and 2010. And it's just interesting to me that this is always Fulton County. Fulton County is Gotham City. It's the most corrupt place ever. It is run by Divine Nine sorority and fraternity members, Black Illuminati, Fani Willis, Kamala Harris. I've done so many shows on this. And nothing but corruption comes out of Fulton County. I've experienced it literally myself. I have been in the same jail wrongfully for something I did not do that Trump was in. And that was before Fani and her army took over the place. Now, a spokesperson for Willis's campaign, when asked about this $1,000 donation, said that she would not be commenting on the matter until she makes every fucking Baconator in Fulton County disappear. So it could be, 15 minutes before we hear from Fani. Now, the loan that this woman took, what she did was she falsely inflated the number of employees that she had and the average monthly payroll for her 4 businesses. That gave her a bigger check, and then she lied on her taxes as well. This is what was so obviously going to happen with these PPP loans. I talked about it on this show, and people who I knew were taking these loans out, I said, be careful, because they're going to come back and start arresting people. Like I told people this. This was such an obvious setup, which makes me wonder why someone who was a lawyer in Fulton County would not recognize it as an obvious setup too, and just line her. Like $15 million is a bit excessive. I mean, you have to just think you can't be touched to just blatantly steal $15 million. And why would she think that she couldn't be touched? That she was above the law? Probably because she's in Fulton County and she's buddies with Fani Willis, who has the same type of behavior, and probably because she's almost definitely buddies with Kamala Harris as well. Why do I believe she's also buddies with Kamala Harris and definitely with Fani? Because the same pattern that I've seen in every single Fani Willis related story when a new character is introduced, I've told you guys about it on this show before. You might remember it. It's the pattern that everyone involved on Fani Willis' side is also a member of one of the Divine Nine black fraternities and sororities that make up what they call the Black Freemasons, the Black Illuminati. Every single time. It never fails. Everybody she's hired almost in the DA's office, everybody who testified on her side that was involved, all of them are members, and it's the same here. This woman is also a member she's a Delta Theta sorority member, Divine Nine sorority, which was founded at Kamala Harris's alma mater, Howard University. There's no doubt that this chick is buddies with Kamala. I'm not saying everybody in those fraternities and sororities are buddies. They're the same age. Sororities are similar. They go to the same events, donate the same money. She thought she was buying protection from Fani with that $1,000. And she didn't think that they would ever touch her because Kamala, her girl, her Divine Nine girl, is in the White House. She got a little too big for her britches. That's my theory anyway. Why the fuck else would you blatantly steal $15 million unless you just thought they wouldn't fucking touch you because your girls are in power? It's crazy to me. I mean, to think about consciously saying, I'm going to steal $15 million is really wild to me. I can see someone filling out a PPP form and maybe I'll mess with it a little bit to get a little bit more, but for someone to go, yeah, I'm gonna up this shit to 15 million. That is an arrogant bitch who deserves to go to jail. I wonder what she knows on Fani. We might never find out. Anyway, sticking with Fani, not sticking to Fani. I don't do that. Not her. But I do want to correct the record on something because I'm serious. I want to get to and expose the truth. And Fani Willis was subjected to some misinformation about her recently. And it spread around for a week, and I do not like when misinformation spreads. And it came from Rudy Giuliani, all right? Rudy Giuliani, while speaking at this Reawaken tour event. Reawaken is a Christian organization that I believe was founded by Michael Flynn. Media calls it right-wing nationalist, Christian nationalist, Nazi, whatever. Rudy was speaking at this event earlier this week, and whether intentionally or unintentionally, I don't know if he did it on purpose or not, he incorrectly labeled Fani Willis as being something that she is most definitely not. And I don't like the fact that he did this and did not correct the record. During Rudy's speech, he called Fani Willis a hoe. He called her a hoe, which according to Oxford Dictionary, a hoe is a prostitute. Okay? Fani Willis is not a prostitute. Nobody pays her for sex. Fani Willis is the one that pays for the sex. The prostitute is Nathan Wade. Nathan Wade's the hoe, okay? Fani is the John. The trick. Whichever. The John or the trick is what Fani is. Don't spread misinformation, Giuliani. I got your back, Fani. You dirty, dirty trick. All right, I think I'm going to end right there. I think that's a good place to end. Fani is a dirty, dirty trick, though. And Wade is a hoe. Wade blew through some other fat black, the JJ, before he blew through hers, okay? For the same promotion, same money from taxpayer bullshit. It's another fucking fraud. It's everywhere, man. All right, guys. Thanks for letting me know about the audio. I feel really stupid about that. Thank you. And thanks for the comments. I'll go through a few comments, actually. What's up, Grumpy? Good to see you, dude. You'll clap when I'm gone. Kamala's husband? No, Kamala's husband is Dougie. Dougie. What's funny about Dougie is Dougie was and this is how he was described. Dougie was a powerful Hollywood Jewish lawyer before he married Kamala in obviously a politically arranged marriage because he's very gay. He's very, very gay. I'm guessing there's, sticks and dildos on every chair he sits on and a hole in all of his pants. Matt, lay off the pipe. You talking about me laying off the pipe? I'm not on the pipe. Look, if I'm on the pipe on a show, you would know it. There's no doubt about that because I get really silly. You can I'd say probably the best person to ask about, not on the pipe, but on a gummy, because the gummies are legal in DC, like weed gummies, and everybody was just, drinking and doing drugs. Like the bars open at 10 a.m. during this convention. I mean, people are partying, and I had taken a gummy. Fortunately, I didn't have to give a speech, because mine would have been a lot more embarrassing than Rechtenwald's with the power of this gummy. But I do remember after taking a gummy during the Libertarian Convention that I was just stumbling around, like I thought I was in some weird Fed-operated spaceship. I'm like, Fed, spaceship. And then I walked into this room and I saw Toad, finally somebody I knew. And I went and tried to talk to Toad. And I don't know if I actually formed sentences. I just remember him looking at me like, is this guy okay? And then the next day, we talked about how high I was off of the gummies. So you would absolutely know. I get really silly when I do pipe stuff. I'm reading the comments late. It's not your fault. I'm just going through them now. My screen was covered. Let's see what we got here. Denver Attaway, 11 alive. Georgia suitcase full. Yeah, I saw some of the ballot stuff. I hadn't got a chance to. I actually did see that story. Is that the old story? Is that the same one I saw? That's last year. I saw a story today on NBC News that was like 60 cases challenging the election were sent to these courts. All of them were rejected, which is just a blatant lie in the headline. They weren't evaluated on the merits because of standing and procedural issues. But they don't tell people that. Fulton County is where the polls were closed. Yes, Fulton County is very corrupt. Let's see. All right. This guy looks like Goomba. Who's that? Oh, that guy on screen. Yeah, that guy did look like him. The Goomba. If you call a 2-mile sprint jogging, I think Jason Bourne jogs with a collared shirt. Yeah. It's funny. We used to make videos. We'd put on full suits, and we go sprinting down the sidewalk in full suits. It's very confounding for people when they see that. It's also funny. I didn't do this one, but somebody I know who did improv in Atlanta, he did this experiment where they filmed him on 2 separate days. He went and panhandled in a full suit, like a nice suit. He looked sharp, and he just begged for change. And then he also did it looking like a homeless person. He got loads more money wearing the suit. That's the lesson there. If you can get your hands on a cheap suit at Goodwill, the cum sock store, I'm sorry, that's what it is to me. If you know anybody who works at Goodwill, they don't wash any of the clothes before they put them on the rack. They just take the jizz-filled shirt and socks and they just put them directly on the rack, okay? That's why they're only $1. Get you a jizz-free suit for $10 at Goodwill and go panhandle in a suit. That's my takeaway lesson here. That's my takeaway lesson. Thank you, guys. Happy hump day. We'll talk to you next time. Have a fantastic rest of your day.